The Democrats were hoping for a blue wave in 2026, but ladies and gentlemen, it's not looking good for the Democrats for a number of reasons. Because for one, the DNC, which is the fundraising arm for the Democrat Party, is flat broke. Two, the Democrat Party is being taken over by a whole bunch of socialist, communist individuals. And three, the Democrat Party is now collapsing in the polls. It's getting so bad where even woke Hakeem Jeffries, the leader of the Democrat Party, is now begging centrist and independent voters to vote for Democrats. Watch this.
I think what is clear, in order for Democrats to go from the minority into the majority so we can end this national nightmare, we do have to own the center and win over centrist voters, independent voters, and swing voters. At the end of the day, that is the only way for us to be in a position to govern and to get big things done for the American people. I do think, again, that what unites all of us at this moment in time is going to be the fact that the cost of living is too high.
It is clear that Democrats plan to appeal to the radical left-wing part of the party is not working out for Democrats. And now Hakeem Jeffries, he's begging centrist voters to vote for Democrats. But I don't think it's going to work because centrist voters don't want to vote for a party that's accommodating these communist and socialist individuals, which is why right here we have Hakeem Jeffries now trying to distance himself from all these socialist candidates.
Well, I certainly don't support open borders. I don't support defunding the police. And I don't support abolishing the Senate. But I do support the notion that we've got to fix what's broken here in the United States of America and ensure that capitalism can actually serve the greatest number of people, that the economy works for working class Americans, and that we've got to do all that we can to make life more comfortable, more affordable, and ensure that everyone has access to a middle-class life.
It is convenient how now Hakeem Jeffries wants to distance himself from these socialist communist candidates. But it might be a little bit too late because these socialist candidates, they're surging all throughout the country to beat Democrats in their primaries. But the issue for these socialists and Democrats is if these socialists should win these primaries, they may not be electable nationwide. And just to show you what I'm talking about, in Michigan, we have this guy, Abdul El Said. He's about to win that primary, but when you put him up against a Republican, it's not looking good for him or the Democrats. But before we take a look at that poll, here we have a video explaining some of the outrageous things that this guy has said and done. Watch this.
In Michigan are headed to the polls today with the state's Democrat Senate primary under the microscope. This is a big test for the Democrat Socialists of America and those candidates they back. Ultra-progressive Abdul El Sayed is looking to beat Congresswoman Haley Stevens and score another primary victory for socialists in the party. Here's a quick reminder of what sort of ideas he hopes to bring to D.C.
We need to abolish things like the filibuster and the Electoral College.
ICE cannot be reformed. ICE cannot be retrained. ICE has to be abolished.
You said the Israeli government is evil. Do you think they're just as evil as Hamas?
Yes, killing tens of thousands of people makes you pretty damn evil.
Do you believe Israel has a right to exist?
The question of Israel's existence is not a question. I'm not going to play this gotcha game about whether or not it has a right to exist.
You said when they go low, we choke them out.
I mean, their choice to go low. Don't go low.
The betting markets are showing that this guy, Abdul El Said, he's about to win that primary over Haley Stevenson. And whenever you match this guy up, Abdul El Said against Mike Rogers, who's the Republican nominee that President Trump endorsed, it's not looking good for El Said or the Democrats, because here we have Mike Rogers polling at 46% and Abdul El Said at 43%. That is a 3% lead that Mike Rogers has over El Said. And he's not the only one. El Said is not the only one that's causing a lot of trouble for the Democrats, because here we have Francisca Hung from Korea, or roots from out of Korea, and she's one of the biggest socialists, and it's not looking good because here we have a Republican that's about to beat her in that Wisconsin governor's race. And as I mentioned, this is the reason why you see the Democrats, they're panicking right now. Watch this report.
One thing that might help persuade them is how you're going to get your message out. And money is an important part of that. Francesca Hong has $715,000 in contributions January to June. Yours over, well, almost $9 million with cash on hand at about $3 million. That's very decisive. How do you plan to get your message out and combat what will certainly be a lot of media attention on this race?
This is a clear contrast race, Dana. I mean, we see big government socialism versus free markets, free enterprise, free people. And that's what I'll be talking about. And voters in Wisconsin are going to decide here in November. Do we want to be a state in decline like Minnesota and Illinois, our neighbors, or do we want to be one of the great states of America? Do we want to see our property taxes continue to skyrocket along with utility rates? Are we going to continue to allow the fraud that goes on in Wisconsin? I can tell you, I'm going to reduce property taxes. I'm going to get control of those utility rates that are nickel and diming people here in Wisconsin, and we're going to root out every bit of fraud that is going on in our state government, and it is in the millions, if not the tens of millions of dollars.
That was Republican Tom Tiffany, who is about to face Francesca Hong, and he's polling at 43% and she's polling at 40%, but the margin of error is about 4.5%. But as I mentioned before, it's not looking good for the Democrats because these are states that Democrats, they should be leading in. And here we have a video of Democrat Bill Maher tearing into Francesca Hong, or whatever her name is. And this is the reason why you see the Democrats, they're collapsing in real time because, for one, they're broke, they're not raising any money. Two, socialists are taking over the party, and that's causing them to essentially collapse in the polls. And you have Democrats like Bill Maher, where they're now thinking about leaving the Democrat Party. Watch this.
Francesca Hong, yet another major Democratic candidate who's all in on abolishing the police and is running for governor of Wisconsin, says, I think that my perfect world would be a world without prisons because we all see the humanity in one another and then we know nobody's disposable. Well, murder victims are.
That was Democrat Bill Maher tearing into Francesca Hong for wanting to defund the police. And as I mentioned before, the Democrats, they were hoping for a blue wave, but it's not looking good for them at all. And to make matters worse for the Democrats, Elon Musk decided to throw his hat in the ring to help elect Republicans or sane people. And CNN, they're not having this at all. They're having a complete meltdown over this. And this is bad news for the Democrats as well.
Elon Musk about to make a massive investment to boost Republican turnout for the midterms. It's a big bet, and Axios is breaking this news just now. Musk's representatives are declining to say just how much Musk is planning to spend, but they told Axios the number is expected to be high. Now, obviously, Musk is the richest man in the world, so high could be absolutely anything. And just the only context we have is that he spent more than $250 million in the 2024 election.
So this is bad news for the Democrats because for years they depended on this guy named George Soros to fund and elect all these woke communist people all throughout the country. But now the right, Republicans, they have Elon Musk to help elect sane people, people with common sense to work for the American people in our government. And to make matters worse for the Democrats, the DNC continues to struggle with its finances.
Seattle Chairman Ken Martin telling members he is bringing in outside help to boost fundraising. This with the midterms less than 3 months away. Byron York joins us now. Let's put on the board here cash on hand. DNC at $16.3 million, but they have a debt of $18.5 million. Cash on hand at the RNC, $128 million and zero debt. Apparently, the Democratic donors have decided they're not buying this product anymore.
You know, the party is just very troubled right now. First of all, things should be going really well for the Democrats right now as they approach these midterms. President Trump's job approval rating is low. It's under 40% in the Real Clear Politics average. The so-called generic ballot shows that more people want a Democrat to represent them in Congress than a Republican. History is on their side. Presidents usually lose a lot of seats in the House in a midterm, and yet the Democrats are totally out of money.
And that brings us to the end of this video. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think the Democrats will win in November, or do you think they will be completely wiped out because of all these candidates that they're putting up? Also, please consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you.